sentence? Okay. How many points? How many points? Can you tell me? Can you please tell me? Can you think about those points too? How many points? 3. Why 3? Because the essay will have 5 paragraphs. If the essay has 4 paragraphs, you need 2. If the essay is going to have 6 paragraphs, okay, I don't have a 6th finger, but you need 4. And I will explain why. Now, a sentence follows to identify, itemize the 3 elements to be explained or to be detailed or to be elaborated on. Listen, you can have your 3, listen, this is like the 1, 2, 3, okay, elements that you have to include here in the first paragraph. You can mention them, when you're writing the thesis statement, and that the way you do it is like you have this at the end of your thesis statement, and then you have colon, and then it becomes the 3 elements are part of that statement. But if you want to have more sentences to make your paragraph look longer, more robust, stronger, okay, you write your thesis statement. You can mention the elements here, but you can have a period, and then you can continue, okay? Follow with a sentence to identify, itemize, or just mention the 3 elements to be explained, detailed, and elaborated on the rest of your essay. So, briefly mention element number 1, okay? Briefly mention element number 1 in general terms, okay? Please use a sentence connector, okay? Sentence connectors are a very effective way to maximize the seamless transitions in your writing. Now, here we go. Sentence connectors. You can describe or reference, let's see, use a sentence connector. Now, here, you're going to also briefly mention element, I'm sorry, I need your help. Element number 2. Element number 2 in general terms. Okay, and then here we go. Element number 2 in general terms is going to be, what's your favorite color? Anyone in the room, your favorite color? Blue? Like that? Can we have blue. This one?
Yes,
because
yes.
it's better. Blue is too dark, and I don't know if the camera is going to capture that contrast. This one?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Element number 2, use a sentence connector. Briefly mention element number 2 in general terms. And then again, here we go. This is when it becomes so easy. Take a look. It is a repetitive process. So, we go here. This is optional. And then you use another, okay? Another. Please do not use the same sentence connector because you're going to write like children. And my father came here and she was not happy, and my mother was not happy either because no. Every time you use a sentence connector, you use your arsenal. You pull from what you know, and then you use a different one, okay? So, again, briefly mention on number 1, use sentence connector, elements to be explained, detailed, etc. Briefly mention element 1 in general terms, use a sentence connector. Briefly mention element number 2, okay, let me give you something here. After every sentence connector, most, if not all the time, you need a comma, okay? So, and then here I cannot have a capital letter, so we say, briefly mention element number 2 in general terms, period. Use another sentence connector, comma, yes or no?
Yes.
And then, what's the next step? Briefly mention element number 3. Okay, here we go. Listen, I am not even going to type it. I am trying to tell you that writing an essay is easy. So what you do is, here we go. Just paste But we're going to have a different color, and this is important because of what's going to happen in paragraphs number 1, 2, and, 2, 3, and 4. This one?
No.
No? The gray? Gray, so that you can see it? Okay, so we have green, blue, gray. All right, so use another different, okay, sentence connector. Element number 2 in general terms. And here, what do? You briefly mention. Okay, it would be, hold on a second, it would be briefly mention element number
3.
That's it. Element number 3. Well, how many sentences do we have? Okay, this person here, I don't want to mention any names to keep your privacy on YouTube, but here we go. You. How many sentences does an acceptable paragraph, like in quality, a well-written paragraph, can have? Between 7 and 10. If it's 12, it's perfect. Don't go to 18 because you're not writing a dissertation. 7 and 10, and it's a mathematical formula. You see the elements that you needed for paragraph number 1. Let's count the sentences, okay? Last person coming in, can you please take care of that door? I cannot open that door now. I cannot interrupt this flow. Okay, please help me out with the door. Someone is waiting. Thank you so much. Okay, here we go. Let's count. Okay, how many sentences do we have? We have sentence number 1, sentence number 2. If you have a second hook, sentence number 3, sentence number 4, sentence number 5, sentence number 6. Bear with me for just a moment. Sentence number 7. Sentence number 8. Well, we are between 7 and 10 sentences. However, I told you at the beginning, every paragraph in the essay has a topic sentence and a conclusion. There are 2 types of conclusions: minor conclusion and major conclusion. Mainly, when you're writing the first, the second, and the third paragraphs, you need, and paragraph number 4, you need minor conclusions, okay? The major conclusion comes at the end, paragraph number 5, okay? So, we have paragraph number 1, but we need a minor conclusion, okay? Minor conclusions. Okay, let me see. Here, okay, or sentence connector, comma. Here, you write a minor conclusion, and it usually leads to paragraph 2, or let's say, let's make it more general, see how I'm changing? I don't have this static formula to give you. It is flexible as we go, okay? So here, you need a minor conclusion that usually leads to the next, paragraph number 2, let's say to the next paragraph, because this will also apply in paragraph number 2, number 3, and number 4. So, leads to the next paragraph, okay? All right, so this is the secret of a coherent essay, and it's so easy. Paragraph number 2, babies, please do not lose your interest when I reveal to you the heart of, the knowledge in making strong connections when writing an essay. It's right here. You have already done it. Remember that we have element number 1 in green, element number 2 in bluish, and element number 3 in gray. Babies, this is going to be paragraph number 2. Paragraph number 2 is going to be green. This is going to be paragraph number 3. And this is going to be paragraph number 4. Okay? This is why you need to be very careful about the elements that you are going to consider when you're writing your thesis statement and you mention these three elements, listen to me. Secret number one. Listen. These three elements, this is mandatory. This is an obligation. This is not something that you can bet on or risk. You need to know these three elements well, because you are going to expand them. You are going to elaborate on them. You are not going to say, I'm going to talk about these three elements. My mom, my dad, and the electromagnetic fields of Jupiter. Because when you have to go to paragraph number 4, and then you have to develop electromagnetic fields, and you have, a clock ticking, what are you going to write if you don't know anything about it? What you write in here can be your happy destiny and future, or it could be your catastrophic downfall. Pay attention to these three elements, because every element is a paragraph. Simple. Listen. What paragraph is this element going to be developed in? Simple. If it's element number 1, add 1. 1 plus 1, paragraph 2. 2 plus 1, paragraph 3. And 3 plus 1, paragraph, you finished your essay. Are you happy?
Yeah.
Now let me explain how we do the rest. Now, in order for you to take a look at a person, take a look at this, okay? Take a look at everything that stands. If you want to stand, okay, you need some support. If I don't have any legs, then I go down on the floor. If this doesn't have any wheels, it goes down on the floor. If your paragraphs do not have any support, then you have a problem. How do we create effective support? Through a simple mathematical formula. Remember that here I told you elements are to be described in... You want to know why? Because my formula dictates that the specific terms are going to be mentioned as your support in the paragraph. If you become very specific here, what are you going to write to develop the rest of paragraphs number 2, 3, 4? No. This is intentionally calculated. Intentionally calculated. You want to be general in number 1. You have to be. If you have a passion for what you're writing about, let's say you're writing about your son, your daughter, your dog, your car, your anything, don't be general. I'm sorry, do not be specific. Do not be specific in paragraph number 1. Because you're going to need that level of specificity or specification in the rest of your essay. Being very, very highly specific in paragraph number 1 is like committing writing suicide. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay? So, here we go. Paragraph number 2. Do you understand paragraph number 1?
Yes.
Yes? Is it clear?
Yes.
Is it difficult?
No.
No. No. Okay, paragraph number 2. All right. Here we go. Paragraph number 2. Okay, let's say write an introductory sentence using sentence connectors. Let's say, not sentence connectors, let's say using introductory words or introductory phrases. Hey, you want to learn how to do it at the beginning? Use basic, okay, obvious, introductory words. This is paragraph number 2. Okay, and if you want to know what element you are developing, simple, subtract 1. Here you are developing element number 1. Don't mention element 2 and 3, because you are going to crisscross, you're going to cross-thread your paragraph, your essay. So, paragraph number 2, what are good introductory words? Simple. Let's say, first. Why first if this is paragraph number 2? Because it's element number 1. Right?
Yes.
It's element number 1. First, or let's say, to start, comma, first, comma, or to start, comma, can you tell me any other? The list can be very long, so you have no limitations. You have So here we go. That's it. And here we go. Topic sentence. Okay. What is the topic sentence? A topic sentence. Okay. The topic sentence will include element 1. Now, element 1, okay? Element, let me use a sentence connector for a seamless transition. Sentence connector here, okay? Let me write here, use a sentence connector. Let's say mention 3, okay? 3 main points, okay? About element 1. 3 main points. Here we go. This is mathematics. This is not writing. You make this look beautiful and strong by using, let's say, no, this is not it. Hold on a second. I want to see. Now. Red. Okay. 3 main points, meaning for every element you're going to develop 3 main points, which you are going to call, let's say, major supporting details, MSDs, but I call them major. Why? Because they're major. Okay, what is supporting me? Only? Not exactly. My blood, my bones, my muscles, my hair, even my hair, I don't know. But okay. Well, we are going to have major, let me put this. Major supporting details, I need a space here, and we are going to have minor supporting details. This is simple. You have element number 1, okay? And then you have 3 major supporting details for element number 1. Yes or no?
Yes.
But this is like, these major supporting details will need minor supporting details. So 2 here or 3. 2 here or 3 to support this, and 2 here or 3 here to support the major supporting details. Basically, this is a thesis statement with elements number 1, number 2, and number 3. Or number 1, number 2, and number 3. Now, element number 1 will have major supporting detail 1, major supporting detail 2, and major supporting detail 3. And then major supporting detail 1 will have minor supporting detail 1, minor supporting detail 2, minor supporting detail 3. Element number 1, major supporting detail 1, minor supporting detail 1, minor supporting detail 2, minor supporting detail 3. Do you see the mathematical nature of writing? Okay, let's do it. So, you have, okay, hold on a second. Let's see. Let me take this out of the picture. Okay, here we go. Details about, there you go. 3 main points. Major supporting detail about 1. Now, you can restate, like mention again. You can restate major supporting detail 1 and develop it with 3 minor supporting details. We have maj SD and min SD. Minor supporting detail 1, then, which is a sentence, then sentence, let me give you, use a sentence connector to join minor supporting detail 1, 2, minor supporting detail 2. Yes or no? Okay. So let's say, use a sentence connector and mention 3 main points. Major supporting detail about element number 1. You can restate major supporting detail and develop it with 3 minor mins. Minor. Do you want me to write the word? I'll write the word because it's the first time. Minor SD and major SD. Okay? Minor supporting detail 1. Use a sentence connector to join minor supporting detail 1, okay, to minor supporting detail 2. Okay? And then, again, use a different one, okay? Sentence connector to join, please help me, minor SD 2 to minor. Okay, minor supporting detail 3. Okay, so let's take a look at what paragraph 2 is doing. Introductory sentence using introductory words, phrases like first, to start, etc. The topic sentence will include element 1. You have to mention element 1. So here, what is the color of element 1? Green? Here we go. Which one is it? No, this is not it. It's this one. Let's see. No, as a matter of fact, here we go. Use sentence connector and mention 3 main points. Major supporting details. 3 main points. About element 1. 3 major supporting details. Okay? Of course, this is green because this is paragraph 1. Sorry. Element 1, paragraph 2. You can restate major supporting detail and develop it with 3 minor supporting detail 1, and then join minor supporting detail 1 to minor supporting detail 2, and then minor supporting detail 2 to minor supporting detail 3. Okay? So this is it. Now,